If your love life has been on the rocks and you're looking to find and create a healthy relationship, in this video I'll share some important things to consider so that your next relationship is good for you. This video is also relevant to you if right now you're in a relation or a situationship and you're not sure if it's healthy. I'd like to contrast healthy relationships with trauma bonds, which is a psychological term for relationships that are highly toxic, abusive, or exploitative. And the main difference between healthy relationships and trauma bonds is intimacy versus intensity. Trauma bonds are intense, whereas healthy relationships are secure in a way that provides the emotional safety necessary for authentic connection, closeness, and intimacy. Trauma bonds trigger anxiety and activate your fight, flight, freeze response, whereas healthy relationships are overall calming to your nervous system. Especially if you didn't experience healthy attachment in your childhood, you'll be vulnerable to mistaking the activation and intensity of your stress response as a sign of love or attraction. It can be hard to figure out what we feel and why, and we're all susceptible to mistaken conclusions about it. Already in the 70s, two psychologists observed this in a study. They found that if people met a potential partner on a high, shaky suspension bridge versus on a low, stable bridge, these people would come to the conclusion that they're more attracted to that potential mate. And of course, suspension bridges don't increase the attractiveness of potential mates, but the fear and stress response that bridge triggered was misattributed as attraction. It's subconsciously believing that love immediately activates a lot of intense feelings that makes people choose a trauma bond over a healthy relationship. And love is a strong feeling, but it grows over time. In the atmosphere of an attachment-friendly relationship environment, it's not anxiety or stress. Depending on your relationship experiences in life, especially during childhood, your psyche has formed a blueprint of what relationships supposedly are like and what they're supposed to make you feel. And if your childhood attachment experience was insecure, your psyche will equate relationships with a certain level of anxiety and stress. And as an adult, when looking for a potential partner, you'll equate someone who triggers anxiety and stress in you as a person with whom you have a lot of chemistry. And if a secure partner comes along, you'll misattribute that bond as boring and lacking chemistry. So if, for example, you experienced abandonment early on, you will feel this trauma bond chemistry with people who are likely to be unreliable and who are likely to abandon you. If you experienced emotional neglect, you'll feel most comfortable with people who are emotionally unavailable. If you experienced abuse, you will feel an intense but toxic chemistry with people who are likely to hurt and betray you. If you experience destructive criticism and rejection, the blueprint for connection your psyche built around those experiences will click with someone who will make you feel defective and less than. If you didn't get to experience your strength, capability, and independence, you will feel most familiar with someone who will make you feel dependent on them or engulfed or controlled. And if you experience that your needs aren't important, you will feel chemistry with someone who will make you subjugate yourself and your needs to them and their needs. When you meet someone who fits into your trauma bond relationship blueprint like this, it can feel like you've known each other forever. It can feel known, familiar, comfortable. You might be celebrating the beginning of something great, when actually, unconsciously, you're reenacting your trauma bond relationship blueprint. To break out of this repeating pattern, it helps to understand your own personal vulnerabilities and how trauma bonds are different from healthy, secure relationships. So you can then guide yourself not to act on your trauma bond blueprint. Trauma bonds and toxic relationships activate anxiety and stress because you have little or no sense of control in these relationships. They're inconsistent, unpredictable, and unstable. They're also characterized by dramatic swings between good moments and extreme lows. That can feel adventurous or dangerous in an enticing way, or you might find it compelling that the relationship keeps you alert and hypervigilant. You will pay a high price for that, though, because it'll weigh on your health to be in a constant fight, flight, freeze mode. Chronic stress makes people sick. Chronically unmet emotional needs make people sick. Healthy, secure relationships, on the other hand, will contribute to your needs getting met. And most of the time, they'll help you let go of stress rather than creating it. In the emotionally safe, attachment-friendly environment of a healthy relationship, you'll actually end up experiencing a deeper and more satisfying connection and love than any trauma bond can offer. The prerequisite for that is predictability, stability, mutual affection and respect, commitment, and healthy conflict resolution. And if you look at a relationship that's like that, from the perspective of a trauma bond blueprint, that can seem boring. If your reference point for love is an activated stress response and not being able to calm down because you're obsessively thinking about them, trying to figure something out to get their attention or to get them to change, then it'll feel like something is missing when a relationship is clear, committed, stable, and predictable. Of course, changing a trauma bond blueprint in your psyche and creating a secure relationship isn't something that happens overnight. At the same time, you're already a big step ahead if you become more intentional with what you're looking for. And that's the main point I'd like to make in this video, how important it is to be intentional with what you're looking for and to resolve to choose authentic connection and intimacy and not stress response activation intensity. It's important to intentionally abdicate the stressful nerves of drama and to resolve to give authentic emotional intimacy a chance. A trauma bond is intense right away, whereas the strong emotions in a healthy relationship need time to develop. A trauma bond will feel familiar right away, especially if that is what you've been used to so far, whereas you'll need time to become familiar with a healthy bond. It's important to decide not to look for a relationship that'll be a project, but to look for a relationship that'll build a secure fundament in your life from which both of you can then focus on other things as projects. Put aside any drive you might feel to finally win over a partner that's similar to an early important person in your life that created the trauma bond blueprint. Decide to let the blueprint go instead of trying to resolve it by reenacting it. You can't resolve it by trying to win someone over that lacks necessary relationship skills and emotional maturity and isn't willing to work on those. You can let it go by intentionally choosing a partner that won't reenact your blueprint right from the start, but who has the necessary skills for a healthy relationship and willingness to continue to grow together. You can let it go by choosing someone who doesn't need to be convinced over and over, who enjoys spending time with you, who you can trust without any doubt, who is open, honest, and committed, and makes you feel safe. Someone you don't have to obsess over or hyper-focus on or keep at arm's length to make it work. Someone that respects and values you for you and has room for your imperfections. Someone that's reliable and emotionally warm and available. Someone you can feel close to that also encourages you in your strength and independence. A relationship that's mainly enjoyed, not managed. As always, I hope this was helpful and wish you all the best in sorting this out for yourself and building a relationship that contributes to your health and happiness. Till next time, take care. And remember, when looking for a partner, be careful with people that trigger intense feelings and alertness right away. And rather look for someone and give someone a chance that's stable and makes you feel safe and calm, with whom you can build authentic closeness over time.